Other teams have the ability to match. Other teams have the ability to offer Lamar Jackson whatever contract they wanted, and the Ravens could match that. It's a little bit disrespectful because what it truly means is, hey, Lamar, you can go do what you want. If other teams are interested in you, go ahead and flirt with them. We're going to be here at home waiting on you to come back to the door. The question for me now, though, is Lamar in trouble? Because he bet on himself, didn't necessarily pay off only because he got hurt. So you could say it didn't pay off. Then he got non-exclusively tagged, Will Blackmon, and I haven't heard of teams banging down at his doors. Is Lamar in trouble?
I don't think he's in trouble at all. Actually, my answer right here says, hell no, he's not in trouble. And simply because he's just that good. He's a really good quarterback. Again, he's 26, and he's super talented. I mentioned earlier this week, once-in-a-decade type of player. So somebody's going to pay him. Whether it's Baltimore, you know, I had this weird hunch that maybe Houston might do something crazy and jump in the mix, but somebody's going to pay him. So I think for him, he's not in trouble. I just think maybe during this whole negotiation process, it is probably stressful, and maybe he's in trouble in that regards, but he's going to get paid.
Will, you have a wine brand, correct?
The wine MVP,
the
yes,
wine
baby.
MVP.
Go get it. Sign the club now.
I was going to advertise it for you, but go ahead.
TheWineMVP.com, I got you.
Anyway, the reason I ask is because I assume you have different levels and variants of wine. Some super high, classy bottles of wine, and some more affordable.
You know your friends well.
Great. Why am I bringing up wine on a sports show? Because it's not always about the product. It's about the buyer. I would assume you sometimes have elite, super expensive, maybe rare bottles of wine, and sure, it should have all the buyers in the world, but it might price certain buyers out. So when you bring up Lamar Jackson and you tell me that, well, he's just so elite that surely he will draw interest, I'm just wondering, just because you are elite, exquisite, rare, doesn't necessarily mean you'll draw interest if there are not suitable buyers.
You're good. No, this is a fair point, because when I set our club at the price point, yes, it's super cool, it looks attractive, but they're like, I don't know if I want to pay that much. That's a beautiful wine. We love those wines. We've had those wines at restaurants, but I don't know if I want to subscribe just yet, because I don't think I am a customer for this brand.
And that to me, Slick, is the issue with Lamar Jackson. Shady, we'll come to you here in a moment. Slick, speak up on Lamar, because you've had several different interesting thoughts.
Several.
Yeah. Is he in trouble? What are we defining trouble? Is he not going to get paid? Yes, he's going to. The Ravens offered him a contract last summer, so the Ravens are going to offer him something. Is he going to get what he wanted?
That's probably the question. Right.
That's where he's in trouble. Because what I know about how agents operate is that we're all waiting to find out who's interested in Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson should already know who's interested in him. He should have already determined, if the Ravens aren't going to give me what I want, I need the leverage of another team that will, or that will at least potentially draw me away from the Ravens so that they have to pay me what I want. I don't get the sense that he knows that. I get the sense that Lamar Jackson is waiting the same way we are, because if he did, I would have hoped that that team would have already jumped out there. Now that they can talk and officially say we're interested, that we would have heard that, and we haven't. And so that's where the game is played with agents, in that they're talking to teams to see what their plans are years ahead of time. To find out where's our leverage, where's our pocket, where's the team that's going to go, oh, you know what, we got to get Lamar Jackson. And if we could get Lamar Jackson, this is how we're going to build the rest of our team. I don't get that right now. And we're looking at plenty of teams that need quarterbacks, but none of them have appeared to have planned to go after Lamar Jackson. So the idea that at this point, at the 11th hour, suddenly somebody's going to turn around and put the number out there that's better than what the Ravens are willing to give him, I just don't see how it happens. So if it's a matter of him getting more than what the Ravens offered, I don't see how he gets there at this point based on what we know.
Yeah, I won't say he's in trouble, but I am kind of just, I'm getting a little worried, man. We thought Wednesday would be the day where teams would come out there and reach out for Lamar Jackson, reach out for MVP, and it hasn't happened. And as I sit back here, I'm thinking like, okay, well, maybe he won't get the $200 million guaranteed like he wants. But there's a medium, because he won't get everything he wants, and the team won't get everything they want. That's why they meet in the middle. And a team like, not even just the Ravens, because I think the Ravens has the best shot, but I look at a team like the Falcons, and it's puzzling to me because why wouldn't you go out here and get him? That division won't be that bad ever again. Think about that for a second, though. NFC South, there's a bad division.
It's wide open.
It's wide open. You get Lamar Jackson instantly. You're the head of that division. That's more sales, more money. Owners like money, more wins, playoff appearances, right? Then you add players. I just think, like, there's a way where you can scale the money in his favor. Maybe he might not get a 4 or 5 year deal. Maybe he gets 3 years. Maybe he gets, I don't know, 160, something like that guaranteed. And then you put escalators in there like, hey, you have been hurt. I think one part that you got to think about is this is a business, right? And if we're negotiating a contract, okay, look, Lamar, you are MVP, you are great, but you've been injured, right? The last 2 years, and it shows that. Maybe we put in there, we add more money if you give us 15 games, 14 games a year. Like, that's what negotiations are. It's trying to get a contract for both parties. They obviously, they could take him, the Falcons, or the Ravens, either teams. But I look at this like the value of having Lamar Jackson to the Falcons. Like real quick, the whole Michael Vick experience, like, y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Like, and don't get me wrong, Julio Jones and Matt Ryan was phenomenal. But not like that Michael Vick era.
Vick, Warwick, Dunn.
Come on.
Yeah.
Imagine how the city was. Imagine how the owners of the money were making. So my thing is, like, even when he had the dog stuff going on, Arthur Blank still was saying, hey, I still want to have Michael on there on the team. Like, small things like that. So I say if Lamar Jackson get the deal done either with the Falcons or the Ravens, it's a good move.
But this is the downside to him betting on himself this year. Because of all those particulars in terms of, hey, let's find some way in the middle. There's $133 million, 3 years. I want more than that. Let's figure out a way that I can make more money if I guarantee you a certain number of games or I get it for a certain number of games. That conversation should have happened a year ago if you're really trying to make it happen with the Ravens. But you said, no, you know what? I don't like your $133 million. I'm going to show you I am worth max dollar. And that's what he played for. That's what he was going for. And you said it was only injury that held him back. If he had been great other than the injury, I'd agree with you. But he wasn't great every game. He wasn't MVP Lamar Jackson every game. And so he put himself behind the 8 ball because as it stands now, he doesn't have that team out there that is dying to get Lamar Jackson. As much as we might say there's a bunch of teams that should be thinking that way, if they were thinking that way, they would have planned to do that right now. We know who they are, and we don't. And that's where, look, again, I would love, and I've seen it with players where they represent themselves. And I'm not saying you have to have an agent, but you have to have advisors that are giving you the full picture and as much information as possible because this is a business and this is a strategy. And the Ravens aren't going to give you one more dollar than they have to give you to build the rest of their team.
I'll close it like this. I don't think Lamar Jackson himself is in trouble. He said himself he has a 3-year, $133 million contract offer out there from the Ravens. That's what they offered. Lamar's leverage is in trouble. And leverage is dictated based upon demand from other teams. And it does not at least appear that there is demand from other teams. There might be interest, but there is a crucial chasm between that word interest and demand. So unless Lamar can garner some demand from other teams, then the leverage is in trouble, and leverage will dictate the worth that he wants to get. So Lamar, you got to get that leverage so you can get that bigger bag, because that big bag is already waiting at your door.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.